Gary, you raised it, taxes. We've talked to you before about the plan. You came out with the group of six, as it's called, with an outline of a plan. Where are you on that plan? When are we going to see the specific legislative language?
So as you're right, the group of six continues to meet. We put out a notice last week that shows how well coordinated the six of us are, how we all agree on the skeleton of the tax plan. We're now working quite actively with the House Ways and Means Committee and the Finance Committee in the Senate to actually get some muscle structure on the skeleton to really drive tax reform to where we have to drive it. We're going to continuously meet over August and hopefully be able to deliver a comprehensive tax bill early in the fall.
Is that September 15?
That's early in the fall, but there's a lot of other dates that are early in the fall as well.
And how confident are you at this point, given all the difficulties that have been occurring up in Congress, that you'll be able to get this through this year, as you said before, is really your goal?
Look, I think the members of Congress understand how important tax reform is. And if we're really going to drive the economy and drive economic growth and get from the muddling 2% to 3%, that we have to do something structural to the U.S. economy. The structural things we have to do, and I've talked about reg reform, so I'll talk about taxes, we really have to change our tax rate. We cannot be substantially higher than the OECD average tax rate out there. At a 35% tax rate against a 23% OECD average tax rate, 13% higher taxes than the OECD average just does not make us competitive. We've got to get in line with the rest of the world. We've got to entice capital to be invested in the United States.
Gary, we caught up with Mohamed El-Erian, a man, of course, that you know well, and he talked about the much-needed handoff from monetary policy to fiscal. Do you think we've relied too much on monetary policy in a country like the United States for too long?
Look, I don't think this is a U.S. issue. I think the globe's been dealing with the whole monetary fiscal policy issue since the 2008 financial crisis. Central banks did what they were supposed to do, but we do have to transition the economy and the system to a more normalized system.
And does that require a handoff from monetary policy to fiscal, Gary? Is that where you guys can help?
Yeah, we can help. We can help by removing barriers. We can help by making it easier for capital flow into the United States. We can get a more competitive tax system here. We can remove regulation that stops capital from coming into the United States. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Gary, as you go back to your office there in the White House behind you right now, what will be your #1 priority? And today, are you more confident in achieving that or less than the day you walked in?
David, my #1 priority from now till the end of the year is taxes. My second priority is taxes, and if you're confused, my third priority is taxes.